What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about some unanswered big questions about the Dutch DLC. Now, a lot's happened since Dutch was announced. A lot's happened since the roadmaps come out. We've gone through different, variations of support and hate and a lot of different things. I mean, there's a lot of people with various thoughts on the DLC. And again, like I said in those videos, I understand it. I get it. I get both sides. I understand the people that want to defend the DLC. I truly do. I honestly, truly do. And I understand the people that are against the DLC. And honestly, sometimes I fall on that side, sometimes I fall on the other side, but I totally get both sides of it. But for this video, I do want to go over some questions I've had, some questions that I've posed even to you guys in the comments, different kind of conversations that I've had even with you guys over the past week talking about Dutch. And yes, I wouldn't necessarily say it's negative, but again, they're just kind of pressing issues or questions that I have with the DLC. So this doesn't talk about, I'm not going to talk about like whether or not he's a good thing for the DLC, whether or not like this is good enough for the first month, all that kind of stuff. Again, you can have whatever opinion you want on that, but more or less, for Dutch himself. All right, let's go over some stuff. So I'm excited. I want to play as Arnold. I want to play as Dutch, but let me ask you something. Is it just a skin? And don't get me wrong, that is not an insult. That's not saying, oh my god, Elphonic is only giving us a skin. No, it's not saying that. But, like, literally, is he just a skin? And let me explain, because there's some problems if he is and if he isn't. If he is a unique character in the game, then you buy him, right? Obviously, I mean, you can buy him if he's a skin or if he's a unique character. It doesn't matter. You buy him no matter what. Okay, you have him. Is he better than the fire team? Why is he better? What exact stats is he better at than the fire team? And can you all play as him? Because if you all play as him, then if you're the Predator, you are now going up against like an elite squadron, basically, right? No longer are you going against the assault class and the support class and all like the recon. You're not going against them anymore. You're going against 4 Dutches, okay, and not like royalty. You're going against 4 people playing as Dutch. Now, okay. Again, you see already, we're like a minute and a half, 2 minutes in the video. Already, I feel like I've isolated the problem here. If he's just a skin, now, I guess I will criticize just a little bit the model of the DLC. If he is just a skin, is he worth whatever price they're going to... I guess that is a question, too. How much? How much is he going to cost? Because we still, as of when I'm recording this, we don't know the price, okay? Is he $5? Is he $6? Is he $7? I think he'll probably go somewhere in the 5 to 7 range. I don't think it'll be 9 or 10. I think that's honestly way too much, but I don't think he's going to be under 5 either. I don't think that, based off what Dead by Daylight's done, based off of what a lot of games have done, I think somewhere in that 5 to 7, like $4.99, $5.99, something like that. That's what I think we're going to end up getting. But again, is he a skin? Because he's a skin of Dutch. Because a lot of people say, like, I want to play as Dutch. And I guess you could say, well, you're paying for his voice because they literally got Arnold back. So are you okay with paying $5 to $7 to look at him and to hear Arnold's voice? Is that worth that money to you? Now, ultimately, like I've said in the past and in the comments, all that stuff, I get it. It's not up to me to tell you if it's worth it. It's up to you to decide yourself. I can give you my opinion of it. I would personally say I don't really think it's worth it. I'm still going to get it, but I don't really think looking at I guess you're playing as him, right? But if he's literally a skin, I don't think that's worth the price, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Again, if you guys I'm gonna buy him. So again, I mean, you could say I'm a hypocrite even for doing that. It's okay. But there's that angle you could take on it. But if he's a unique character, see, that's the thing that like Dead by Daylight does have going for it. When you pay the $7.99, whatever, for the killer and the survivor, you get more than just the skin. Like, yeah, we know that, especially the survivor, they're just skins, right? Because they're all the same size. I guess some of them are a little heavier than others, some are more skinny, but they're pretty much different variations of what we already have. The killers, they're a lot different. Okay, I would argue they're a lot different. Like, yeah, I guess their base function is the same, but they're very, very unique from each other. I guess some are kind of copies of each other. You know what I mean? For the most part, they're pretty darn unique. So you're paying for that. You're paying for the new weapons and the new ways of hunting that the killer has. You're paying for, here's the important part, for the survivor, you're paying for the new characters, sure, but I would also argue you're paying for the perks. Now, I guess And I think that it would be true, right? Because you do the perks, you get the perks, and then eventually with the blood web, you can get them on the other characters, but you need to have bought them first. You can't get it if you don't have them. Okay, so I would argue that it's also some of the things that make them unique that you're paying for. And I get it. They look new, and they are unique in that way, so you could argue that, but I think there should be more. And again, that's just my thought process. You don't have to agree, but bringing it back to Dutch, do you see how I'm trying to connect these? Does Dutch have something special? Yes, the weapon, like he's got his own knife and he's got his own gun, or there's a new gun being added, but everybody gets that for free in July, so there's really nothing new there either, right? So you're pretty much playing as the skin. You're playing as Dutch. But I don't know. In fact, does anybody know? Is he just the skin of Dutch, of Arnold, or is it a brand new character with abilities? And that's pretty much, I guess that's as far as honestly you can go. Because again, if he's just a skin, is he worth the money? Is it really all that special like people say? And again, that's not me judging. That's me asking you, is he worth it? Or if he is actually unique in the terms of, yeah, actually he's more power, he's got more health, or he's a little bit faster, or, name your thing that he brings along with him. Well, then, can all of us play as him? Because if all of us are playing as him, now all of a sudden, you've changed the game a little bit. Because if you're a Predator, you're now going up against 4 soldiers that are more powerful than you would against the fire team. Does that ruin the balancing? Now, you could say it would ruin the balancing. Well, is the balancing already broken, right? That's a thing that definitely you have to decide amongst yourselves, but that would provide a problem. If Arnold is stronger, if, whatever goes along with him, if he's, enhanced, this Dutch character, then you've changed the game a little bit. And I don't know if people expect that that's a thing too, is where are our expectations? And people may say, oh my God, well, you expect way too much, or you're expecting this. Really, if you want to know my brutally honest opinion, I'm not expecting anything. I guess I'm going in expecting it to just be a skin. I just am expecting to be able to look, and when I'm playing the game, I'll hear his voice a little bit. It'll be Arnold. It'll be Dutch. Okay, that's all I'm expecting. If there's anything more to it, then that's a bonus, I guess, for me, right? But that's where I'm expecting it. So you can't say that I'm expecting it to be this, this massive thing or something that I'm just not saying, because it's just not true. But I do think there are questions there. And to be honest with you, even if you think going ahead to the future DLCs, what have I been predicting for the longest time? Well, maybe the second month, June, would we get a new Predator? And see, that right there, if I tell you you're going to be able to buy a new Predator next month, it's going to be a new, basically, class of Predator, or even a new version, from a different movie or different, whatever, would you expect that Predator to be different in any way from the previous ones? I would say, yeah, you would, actually, because there's different classes for the fire team. And so, again, would Arnold be in his own class? I feel like he kind of should be, wouldn't he? And, again, for Predators, it's well, there's a couple different Predators already in there, and they have their own stats to it. And if you add an additional Predator, if you add a 4th Predator, not counting the skin, right, the 87 skin that if you pre-order the game, also, that's important to notice too, right, is that the attributes to him, the stats basically, are the same as the hunter class of the Predator, right? So if you're now introducing I guess technically 5th Predator, but 4th new one, are they part of a class? Is it a different, is it you know what I mean? Is it a berserker? Is it another berserker? Does it have to look like him? Is it going to have the same kind of attributes? Things like that. That I feel like if you go into questioning that, I feel like that's maybe a better way of doing it. If you are expecting a Predator at any point during this DLC, which I think is fair to expect, right? I mean, we want maps, we want weapons, we want perks, we want gear, and I think all of those absolutely should be in them. But another thing you do have to keep in mind is adding a Predator and adding a fire team, which could be Dutch, right? They can definitely add to the game, big time. Adding an additional fire team class or a new Predator in general really does strengthen the base game. Actually, a lot, right? It strengthens a lot. But what do you expect from that Predator? So if I tell you that next month we're going to get a Predator, what would you be looking for in that? And now take that mindset and go to Dutch and now say, well, do we expect the same thing? We're getting this, but should we expect would we want new weapons, new gear, new perks, all that kind of stuff? Because ultimately we're getting one gun, one knife, but they're both going to be free later. So, and they're really, and as far as we know, he doesn't come with his own unique perks. But does he? Because they haven't really said. If he came with his own perks, if they did a Dutch DLC this upcoming week, next week, if they did that, And it also came with like 3 new perks. Even if it's not exclusive, like I'm not saying like only Dutch can have these perks, but if it came with perks with him, I think that'd be pretty cool. I feel like that would be, and maybe the perks you could only get if you bought the Dutch DLC. I feel like that's something that's very possible, or at least should be something that they'd be looking at. But I don't know. Ultimately, they gave a little bit of info in that blog, but they didn't really give all that much. So I'm looking for answers. It's coming very, very soon. So no matter what, we're going to get answers when we turn on our systems that day and download or buy the DLC. We'll get our answers. It's just going to be really interesting to see what happens. And really quickly, guys, I know this is the end of the video, but I wanted to just say this video was sponsored by Manscaped. So you guys may know what Manscaped is. You guys may not know. I look at it as a full body grooming just service, okay? You can go, actually, we have a promotion on the channel right now. It's code podcast now, all caps, one word. You get 20% off anything you buy on there. You also get free shipping. So that'll be in the description below. I know you've maybe have heard different things about this site. Think of it just as a grooming thing. There's loads of different grooming tools. There's loads of different grooming, basically everything for really any need that you guys have, okay? So again, if you guys are interested in it, it'll be in the description below. Check out the website. Anything you buy, you get 20% off with the code podcast now and free shipping. Thank you to Manscaped, obviously, for sponsoring this video. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think that Dutch needs to have more with him? Do you think he actually does have more, but they just haven't said it yet? What are you expecting from this Dutch DLC? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, have that bell icon turned on. I will be, again, continuing the Predator coverage on the channel. Been having so much fun. You guys have absolutely rocked and supporting me and supporting the channel. You guys have done amazing. So we are going to be live streaming when Dutch releases. I'll be having videos. They're gonna keep on coming really throughout this roadmap. As long as they support Predator, I will cover it on this channel, okay? Thank you again for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.